How's it going, guys? What of course you'll be seeing today is another Counter-Strike Global Offensive competitive match as I buy the 5.7 right off the start. The reason why I wanted to choose it at first is because it's such a high damage armor piercing round in terms of the pistols and the pistol round. The big issue with it though, of course, is that it's a pretty expensive pistol to buy, and because it's the opening round, they're not going to have armor anyway. So maybe in hindsight I didn't really need to buy that pistol at all. But I guess it means if it all comes down to preference, if you feel it's a particular pistol you can have great success with, you've built up muscle memory, etc., there's no reason not to buy it for you if you really chose. But I guess I really didn't need to buy it in the second round or the first round. It probably would have been more effective to buy it in the second round, considering that the terrorists, because they won the opening round, might actually have been armored up now. So maybe it would have been a smarter choice if I had actually switched up the rounds that I had bought them. Needless to say, it didn't go that way. And we're ecoing in this second round here as I'm going to try and defend the catwalk. Second round, of course, once you're on eco, is a bit tough because, well, obviously they're going to have better weapons than you. They might have armor. If they were smart, they'd probably have armor. That was me going far too quickly. I think what you'll see, of course, as I, of course, die there and we lose the round again. I think what you'll see, because if I remember this match correctly, at least, because I did it the other day and I'm doing the commentary on it now as we're ecoing basically again here. What you'll see is I'm pretty sure I start terribly. And for whatever reason, this has been a bad trend I've developed lately of sort of getting off to slow starts instead of, well, like, I mean, there's no way you can entirely control it as long as you can control it so much as that you play your game and you play your intelligent strategy of peeking when you're supposed to peek, defending an area when you can't. You can control it in terms of your variables. That's as much as you have control over. But I do feel on average that I have gotten off to bad starts recently, and I'm not sure why. And well, actually, I'm pretty sure why. It's probably because I'm trying to do too much, pushing too far up, too fast, and not taking my time. And that's the biggest issue I find I have a lot. Like in that case there, I end up getting the kill to pop the bomb up. Biggest issue, of course, is that I didn't play it too well. I sort of started moving out right as he was pushing up. I probably should have stayed stationary so I didn't have to worry about stopping and then shooting. I could just play it cool and calm and not have to worry about it. But it didn't, of course, didn't work out that way. But it looks like we finally got our round win. We finally, at this point, we're in the process of trying to gain some momentum. Which always helps. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I ended up buying that. What I like doing, of course, is because I'm going to be looking at more YouTube videos on great smoke spots and good strategies to use in Dust2. But I already know I'm going way too fast. I should probably have my weapon out a long time before I even crossed here. So, of course, like I pointed out in a previous video that I've seen with multiple Counter-Strike videos and circumstances, I do tend to go, like, oh, there, I'm doing pretty good. Do I get this last kill or do I get killed? We'll see in a second. Damn it. I got killed. But I do notice, and that guy flanks all the way back around to get the kill, which was great. So we're finally starting to build some momentum. But again, the biggest issue I find is, and I won't mention more, I promise, because I've done it in previous videos. I do notice on average that I do make quite a few horrible mistakes in terms of being too impatient, especially when the bomb gets planted. Instead of taking my time, clearing out all areas, and then pushing forward, checking all angles, I have that really bad habit of the second the bomb gets planted, of sort of panicking and going too fast. Instead of clearing areas, realizing that I have more time. I probably shouldn't have thrown both flashes in hindsight. The one maybe to slow them down a little bit if they were actually rushing catwalk. But not both, because I'd probably need the other one there. I'm pretty sure I die here. Yep, I remembered that one. That was just a dumb one. I probably not only should I have probably not gone up that way, I should have waited for them to make their push. On top of all that mistakes, I went too fast into the corner and I didn't even bother looking up before I decided to get myself into too much trouble. So that round you can pretty much completely throw away as just a gigantic disaster of a mistake for me. You know, but we're still building momentum, because if you're exchanging a 1-for-1 as the counter-terrorists like I am now, then you're at least in pretty decent shape. Especially if you killed him first, because then logic would dictate that your last guy, if it's a kill trade every time, would actually win the round. But again, this one, when I'm defending, I think it's, I can't remember. Yeah, when I'm defending a site, like here, I shouldn't be doing this. It's too impatient. I know they're only down to 2 guys. I'm throwing the smoke there to basically hope that if they're up in the tunnel in the underground section that they'll push toward B, which we're already heavily covered. That's why I throw the smoke. And I'm pretty sure it works out this way. See, this is a pretty good illustration of me taking my time. I'm sort of guarding this area in case they came out from underneath the tunnel area or catwalk, which they did. Quickly mow them down. And I probably wouldn't have done this in a lot of different instances in the past. It's just really slow down, really take your time. Make sure an area is completely clear before you decide to make some quick rushed decision. And it worked out for that particular round. And we're on a nice run here. Like, look at the, well, even with my fully, completely stocked gear in terms of grenades and basically everything, we still have $4,600, which is, of course, great. It means we're off to a great start. We have money to play with, money to buy. But like I was saying earlier, going back, defending A I find is most difficult. Of course, you want someone guarding long A. You might have someone directly on the bomb site. And of course, you'll want someone at cap, which I'm basically doing now. The only issue is because all my teammates seem to be going long A, and I'm forced to defend cap by myself, I still detect that sort of impatience. Like, you can see that I'm not really too sure of the exact point which I should take until I'm basically already committed to basically a firefight. It worked out. I got those 2 guys, but I probably should have. Like, this part here is basically a pre-fire heavens section. They're going to be firing that section regardless because, like, just about any team that's ever played Dust2 and Counter-Strike knows that that point there is a particular hotspot. Everyone looks to defend cat through that spot. But them putting up a good smoke or flashbang probably would have actually flushed me out of that section. So I'm surprised they didn't, but needless to say, not a big concern because we won that round. But I do find that defending cat, I have probably the most reservations because you can see I'm not really too sure where to stay. I could have stayed behind those barrels here because as much as it wouldn't be the best of cover, at least it's a different area than where they're expecting you to be, which is playing that mind game of always not exactly sure of where, or putting yourself in a situation where they're not going to be too sure of where you are until you're already committed to a firefight, is also putting yourself in a good position to win matches. So again, completely depends on the circumstance, but this part here is the most popular place to play. Almost everyone in every match always plays this if you're a counter-terrorist. I could have dropped back a little bit further behind me. I could have played directly on the bomb site. And again, I'm not sure. Like, see, this was the bloodlust that I tend to get a lot. Like, 2 guys got taken down there, which is great, but I was pushing up a little bit too much. Like, what if I was swarmed in that last section? I was in serious trouble. I managed to get the kill there. It worked out. Move on to the next round. What was the point I was just going to say? I feel a lot of teams that I've been playing up against with lately, as much as I understand it is a good point to defend, a lot of my teammates tend to really rush toward long A a lot. And I figure that's for 2 reasons. A, because it is a hot point a lot of the time that teams like to attack. Yes, that's the logical reason. But the other reason I think too is because if they don't immediately attack long A and they aren't on catwalk, then it's a good flank point so that you can go back to the underground tunnels through B, or you can attack cat as a flank. Because a lot of people obviously like going for kills, going for flanks. The big issue, though, I find, is that it leaves one guy all by himself on catwalk. And if a team throws, like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have peeked through that smoke. I should have been more patient and waited for them to come to me. Needless to say, I survived so far. So far, so good. But I noticed that people fight too much for... like on my teammates, at least in the counter-terrorist side, they fight too much for long A sometimes. Because if a team makes a nice push through the catwalk section here, say 2 guys went to long A and I'm all by myself, then I have to defend sometimes a 3 or 4 man situation all by myself on cat. And then the guys that are rotating that were already at B are now at a disadvantage because the guys that planted the bomb were already set and they're just waiting for you to get mowed down coming in that territory. So I find that teammates going to long A a lot sort of put themselves at a disadvantage, or disadvantage the team sometimes if they're not telling them where they're going. Like, I mean, it could work out. Like, say if I was able to throw a smoke and delay them long enough on catwalk that they didn't immediately push up, the guys that pushed along A and now are sort of rotating back can now flank and go nuts on them on the catwalk. So I'm not saying there aren't pros and cons to each and every circumstance. By all means, no. You guys already know my thought process on this a lot of the time. But I do feel like it has to be communicated well if that's going to be the plan or if that's going to be the strategy. And a lot of the time, I'm not told any of this. But I guess it would improve if I wasn't sort of solo queuing all the time as I tend to. Because big issue, like I was saying in multiple other videos, is that because I moved out to PC and left console, I don't have a lot of players to play with that I trust and know. So I solo queue a lot, and that's no problem. But I almost sort of prefer it that way too, though, because a lot of the time I've been getting a lot of decent, good matches here, and I probably shouldn't be pushing through the smoke. Why do I keep doing that in hindsight 2020? It's the impatience, like I was saying, I guess, but I'll work on it now that I see it more in the reviews. Defending B, I find, is a lot more simple because basically they have to go through the tunnel. Like if they could push around through the section where I was just at. Like I'm pretty sure I get mowed down. Like because this is what it would be like. Because now they're defending. Like I peek here. This was really stupid. I remember this death. That was so dumb. I basically gave that guy a kill as they get the win. I figured I could maybe try something cute and go for a quick double tap. Didn't work, and I got mowed down. I didn't know that he had an op, which didn't help even more, because attacking a guy with an op when he's already in position is basically one of the dumbest things you could do. And, well, it ended up working out, unfortunately, for them, not me. But like I said, defending B is nice. I think we push B here. I bought an op. Because obviously the op guys here, like I'm going to be doing in a second, you could just completely guard that tunnel. I'm pretty sure I give that guy the spot because he had already established it. There's no reason for two oppers to be fighting for one area all at once. So this was me basically making sure that no one doubled back. Because if they double back through this section, then they can get a pretty good jump. And I don't know why I'm moving up. Why am I moving up? See, I'm pointing out all these hindsight 2020 flaws as I see it. But I figured they were attacking A. My intuition's usually right a lot of the time, despite not playing Counter-Strike an awful lot. I can usually guess pretty well where they're going to try and go and where they're going to try and be. But it does, like I was moving too much, I missed. That was dumb. A lot consecutive rounds of just really terrible play on my part. And I think, no, we didn't round switch yet. But like I was saying again, I can just see the impatience when I play, and that's my biggest weakness so far that I'm definitely working on. I just saw it there, especially with an op. I got lucky that I was killed and they didn't take my op. I was lucky enough for that, but I do notice that's an impatience that I definitely have to work on. And again, let me know where you guys like to play when you're playing Dust2. Do you like shifting around a lot? Do you like playing in this certain area? Like that was a nice flash. He got me, and I got like, see, this is the sort of low point I'm talking about. Sometimes I'll have 2-3 rounds where I just watching it here. I don't know what's going through my head at the time. It just watching it here in hindsight. I understand it's a complete mistake, and I almost feel like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not putting myself in a good position to win at all. I'm putting myself in a situation where I'm basically feeding kills to an inferior team. Oh, I don't like it. This is where I like playing B. Obviously, I like throwing smoke, but I like smoking. All the time when I was learning to play, going back to Battlefield 4, people would always say, smoke the team, not yourselves. And the first time I heard it, I wasn't too sure exactly what the main illustration of what the guy was trying to say, but it makes sense now that I've played the game so many times more and you really thought about what they were saying. It makes perfect sense. When you're throwing a smoke like that, you want the smoke to hit them. You don't want it to hit you because that's basically their goal. They want to hit you so they can push up. If you throw the smoke that hits them, then they're basically pinned down. If they're smart, they have to wait for it to go away. And I got my op back, and I managed to kill him. Excellent. Works out well. I'm happy about that. I forgot that match. I forgot that point even happened. So now I'm pleased as I'm doing this commentary. This has to be getting close, I think, pretty soon toward, I believe, the last round before we actually switch between terrorists, counter-terrorists. I like using the, like a lot of the time people will opt right off the start, but I do notice the terrorists, or the terrorists have the largest advantage in terms of opping basically off the start. Because if they're like where their spawn point is, sometimes if they're able to spawn immediately at that particular section at the start, then they'll have at least a full second or two for you to basically walk into their scope before you even have a chance to turn. So that's why I don't like opping off the start as a counter-terrorist. As a terrorist, though, it works out fine if you're able to gain position and advantage. This part here I remember worked out pretty decent. Because I know the bomb was down in there. I know the guy's behind me. He gets shot right in the back. And then I mow him down with the pistol here. I can't remember if I get the final kill or not. I can't remember where he comes from. We'll wait. We'll listen. Oh, no, I remember this part. He's opping at the start. He gets my teammate. And then I get him. Which was nice. That's what I was happy about. That was a nice sequence of events. And there's the last round of the first half, as I was talking about. But like I said, I don't like opping off the start for that reason, that the terrorists sometimes will have the large advantage right off the start. So it doesn't make sense for you to put yourself at a disadvantage. But at the same time, of course, you can hold down a whole area by yourself at B as long as you don't get swarmed by 3 or 4 at once. And of course, they don't throw a perfect smoke to lock you down. Like, see, this is what they're doing. I pretty much said that exactly. 2 different smokes. The area is obscured, so I threw the flash. I was just trying to slow them down a bit, and I missed. Another bad habit I've had is, as I've lowered my sensitivity for whatever reason, I tend to move around too much. Like, it worked out well in this circumstance. And then I didn't realize there was 2, and I got swarmed. Yeah, I just didn't see that guy come through. That was a mistake on my part. Of course, here, I can't remember if I buy another pistol. Yeah, I did. Of course, you want to win the pistol round, so you want to buy a pistol that's going to put yourself in a good circumstance to win. And this one I happen to like. My biggest issue, of course, is the biggest weakness with this particular weapon, is that if you fire this weapon in anything else than controlled bursts, it can get away from you. It can be really intense. I'm sort of guarding this flank angle here to make sure that they don't creep up on us if they didn't divide themselves 3-2 A and B. This was a good push by our team here. We all swarmed out at once. We all managed to smoke the bomb site and push out. And then the rest of the way, you shouldn't go hunting. You should just guard the bomb. I see way too many of my teammates a lot of the time. When you fight hard to gain a position, when you fight and you have numbers locking down an area, why would you give it up by trying to push and hunt for a guy? Just sit in the area, establish yourself, don't move around so much that you're able to keep your accuracy, and just wait for them to come to you. If they want to win the round, they have to come to you. Display patience. Hold your positions. The match basically becomes in your hands. Why would you change that up? It worked out. But I like the CZ as a terrorist side. As long as you're firing in controlled bursts and you're not moving around while you're doing so, it's, I feel, an excellent option. But you do have to manage your ammo because you have smaller mags with it. So you definitely don't want to put yourself in a position where you're basically getting in multiple firefights, or you're putting yourself in a position where you have to watch your rounds, because if you get in a situation, of course, like I was saying, that you're low on rounds, then you'll probably be in serious trouble. You'll have to hope to God that you'll kill one guy and then pick up the rounds. I'm surprised I didn't die here. Well, to the first guy I meant, the second guy I obviously do. As you see his ragdoll carcass flying. Terrorists ended up winning, which was us, which was good. Also, the other thing I think that works out really well, if you're still listening to this commentary to this point, is that I've set my key bindings different. I'm using the number pad on my keyboard to quickly give me the key bindings for grenades, for the AK-47, the AWP, and all the other weapons you want quick access to. And I feel that's helped an awful lot, because once I've gotten used to the key bindings, I can quickly buy so much so quickly, and I don't have to worry about going through each and every single different key key section with the mouse. I can just immediately buy all my gear, and then in the time frame between, if my teammates are smart, then I can actually negotiate a strategy with them and not have to worry about, say, managing two things at once when you're trying to already get familiar with a game. It's not overloading basically the information coming to you as we win this next round here. I think it says a side note quick, I'm pretty sure I sold that skin on Steam Market. I've been getting pretty decent money selling older skins and selling just pop-up skins as they come, selling some crates. It's generated good money. It's given me enough money that I could probably buy a pretty decent amount of cheaper Steam games coming off the market. So those have been pretty decent. The drops have been pretty decent for Counter-Strike. Sort of one of those understated moments as you continually play the game that turn out pretty decent for you, pretty fun as you buy cheaper rounds. I wasn't expecting that guy to completely push up as far as he did, but I figure again, smoke them, or not smoke yourself. This was a section here. I'm surprised it took so long to kill that guy. That was a shorter range sprays I've noticed have been a bigger issue for me that I'm still working on trying to improve. But I still feel I'm going too fast here, as you can tell. You should probably just keep your gun out and not actually use your knife very much in those circumstances. This here, I feel, as we're sort of exploring, waiting for this last guy, was a circumstance we're in good shape, of course. But it's not a circumstance to let your guard down, because I feel a lot of teams accidentally let their guard down, or they just intentionally let their guard down far too early, and it puts themselves in a situation that's really not successful. So, but it worked out here. Right now, I think we're starting to pull away. What's that? I think it's 14-6, something around that. I think it's 1 or 2 more rounds we have. That's called suicide, and for that reason, of course, you don't want to actually take that route. What I want to do here, I think my thought process strategy here was to pop smoke, to obscure anyone that was going to op, but of course I get opt right in the face. But we do win the round. And this, of course, here's the last round. This is, of course, here. I believe we do win this one. I believe this is where we wrap it up. But that's a commentary on that, key binding changes, and then just a round-by-round demonstration. Let me know feedback if you want to hear anything more to do with Counter-Strike, tips and tricks or just my general experiences of what I've gone through. And see, this is what I mean when opping off the start. We basically have the advantage, although I was way late on the draw. We win the round. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you later.
Throwing fire. Planting. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
Okay, well, nah. Good game, good game.